All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome to this episode of Parables from the Pit, Warrior Week podcast. My guest, Mr. Similian, graduate of Warrior Week 36, all the way from Slovenia.
Yes.
Welcome to America.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Okay, you're gonna have to talk close to your
Yep.
mic, and we can also you can. Man, I remember when you came to Warrior Con, and then you reached out to me and you showed interest to come to Warrior Week. We went on the interview, we had a discussion, and you're obviously a public speaker, a very popular public speaker in Europe, and we talked about that. But really, what I was asking you is that why do you want to come? And I specifically remember that what we discovered together is that truly, like, you were just like, yeah, okay, public speaking and everything you knew, but you truly wanted to serve your family best.
Yep.
And it's not like you were doing a bad job. Is you wanted to find the best tools and the best systems out there to serve your family the most. And I said, yeah, where we can kind of enable that. And obviously you came to Warrior Week and you continued with the Kingdom Challenge and you continued through the certification to become a certified trainer. And it's been a journey of over a year. And when I look back inside of this, truly, you didn't gain any tools or system, and you have truly find yourself in this process, the husband, the father, that you've always desired. And this tension that was created with Warrior Week, Kingdom, and everything else that came after it just amplified the desire for you to become that man. And, today I'm looking at some of the stuff that you're doing with your podcast and the Warrior family and just watching you train across the world. Number one, I'm very proud to have you here in the studio. Also very proud to have you here in America. But truly, I want to go back to I want you to go back to that first conversation, and it's not that long ago, where you were giving advice and business advice and providing lifestyle advice to a lot of clients, yet you were truly seeking an answer for yourself, and an answer for yourself that you didn't really felt safe asking anywhere else but here at Warrior. What was it that brought you here, Similian? What was it that said, knock at this door?
No, when my wife gave a birth to our daughter Sima, and I can remember when I hold her in my hands, I promised to myself that I will be with her more than my dad was with me at that time. And then years go by, she was 7 years old, and I found myself in this place that I never played with her. I never played with my son. Even though I promised myself I will spend more time with them, I will play with them, because I cannot remember my father playing with me when I was a child. Either he was away, either he was angry, either he was arguing with my mom. So I said, I'm going to be a better father. And then I really didn't know what it means to be a father, because I didn't have this role model at home. Many years ago, before I met my wife, Helena, I promised to myself I will never get married, because I said, if this is the marriage, I'm not signing up for this. And I broke up every relationship that you can imagine. Like when I felt something is going on seriously with a woman, I said, I'm breaking up. So I did something. I was not the one breaking up. She was the one breaking up, but I caused everything. So here I am, having my daughter in my arms, promising myself I'm going to be a better father. And then I found myself 7 years later, I'm not doing that job. And, it's something that you tell to yourself, whatever I do for my family. I do for my kids. And then you are not at home. And then I realized, with your help, I was traveling to all these events, making all the excuses that that I'm doing this for my family, that I have to gain knowledge. But really, what I was doing, I was running away from the responsibility of being a father. And when I remember when I realized that, I was crying like crazy. I couldn't stop for 10, 15 minutes. I wouldn't find this without Warrior. Never. It was really, that was the biggest pain that I felt in 2 months in the warm-up phase to the Warrior Week. That was the biggest shift. I was crying even when I finished with the video that I was posting in the workplace.
You know, when I was speaking to you on the interview, you know, I don't know if I ever told you this, but like, you know, it was a reflection of my own life.
Yeah.
You know, here's this man that is traveling in a different domain. He has an accent just like me, and he's just typical myself, and that's who I was too in the oil and gas. And you know, 256 days out of 356, or 2/3 of my year just traveling, there was nothing but a sense of significance and a false identity that I would rather have that identity than to be with my family. That's how fucked up it was. It was like, fuck, man. I'd rather be this oil and gas executive. I'd rather be traveling in these remote fucking location, fucking nowhere in India. Like India, man. Places that Indian people haven't got. Like there's a place called Guwahati, man. Like there's a places that even Indian people have not traveled. In Poland, people from Poland, these are called frontier location. In the Middle East, in the middle of fucking desert, nowhere. 700 kilometers away from the city. Like when at night, tribes would come and exchange some shit with you. Like here's Coca-Cola and SIM cards. No insurance. Small consulting company. But what clicked is that, man, what the fuck? I rather this identity than being a dad and a husband. That's what it was. And so, you know, even now when you talk about I was running away from the responsibility, it's not that, you know, I didn't love my family.
No, it's
but
not.
but I was operating under like a false promise that I actually love my family.
And that's why you are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how it's just crazy how that resonated, because man, running away from my responsibility as a dad and a father, knowing that I wasn't a bad guy, knowing that but just working.
Yeah.
Working was my running away.
This is excuse.
And so it's a pain of so many other guys out there. Like what you're expressing right here, man, it's the pain of the executives. And no wonder why you dress like a fucking exec. By the way, you're the first fucking guy that comes in with a tie here and Parables of the Pit. So because you're from Slovenia, we're going to accept this.
Okay,
Otherwise, you
okay.
have to fucking wear a T-shirt, man. But I guess there is a reason for you and this conversation is because there are so many other guys.
Yeah.
I was the guy in the suit, man. I was the guy in the suit. And there's nothing wrong with the suit. I'm still a guy in the suit, but I was the guy in the suit, and that suit was saying, I'd rather the identity the suit gives me than my family. And that fucking hurt. Because if you don't hear it this way, it's not gonna click. You're always gonna be good at assuming and justifying it. But let me tell you straightforward. Like if you're listening to this conversation, let me tell you straightforward. Like if you're putting your identity in business or your identity in the line of work and what you do, if you're in love with that more than your family, there's a fucking problem, bro. You're living in a falsehood that you love your family. And I could never ever even like hear these words 5-6 years ago and say, yeah, you're right. I would just say, fuck you. What the fuck are you talking about? So I'm not expecting you to kind of say, yeah, you're right. But I do want you to question it. Like, that's what you did. You started questioning. Look, so you started questioning then what are these patterns and behaviors, and what are the routines that I put myself that actually takes me away from my family. And so you came to Warrior Week, and I experienced you going all the way in at Warrior Week. What is it that you found at Warrior Week, man? Like, what is it that you came from a foreign country?
Garrett asked me this question: how I found the Warrior Week. So I had one consultant here in US, and we met in maybe Orlando. So we sat down and we were talking about me building an international brand and trying to figure out how to position me. And she said, you should do something for men only because you have this masculine energy that is not so common here in the United States. I said, only for the man? She said, yes, only for the man. I said, anybody's doing this? She said, yeah, there is one crazy guy down at the Laguna Beach. He's doing this warrior stuff. So I wrote Garrett's name down, and then maybe a few months later, I was in deep shit, and I started to look and to check. But you mentioned something that I have to address. So at the end of every year, I reflect. What did I achieve?
Okay.
So many years ago, and up until last year, I was measuring how much insurance policies we sold, how many speaking gigs I had, how much revenues we had, what was the profit, all the parameters and all the
Metrics of
metrics
business.
of the business. You know what is my metrics of the business from this year now? I have my notebook in the car. If you don't believe me, So yesterday on my way on the airplane from Frankfurt to San Francisco, number one metric is how many days I was away from home. So this is first thing that I track now. So I cut this year in half.
That is huge.
That is huge. And then I set a goal. Next year I will cut in half again.
Huge.
And I think this is the new business metric that we as a business owners have to put on our list. It's not the revenues. It's not the profit. It's not only the King's Cash that you teach.
Correct.
It's important. I never thought about it.
We're
I always looked about the revenues. I always put all the revenues back and profits into the business. But since I came back from the Warrior Week, I'm just counting my cash, and that is huge shift for most.
I think
business owners.
that is a great metric. I'm going to write it on the board.
Yeah.
As at the end of this, how many days are you away from your family this
Or
year?
with your family.
With your family.
Yeah. For me now, the priority was to cut in half
Yeah.
the number of days that I was away,
Yes.
and I will start to track also the number of days that I am with.
Yes.
So I think this will expand more then.
Yes.
But now I wanted to cut down. So I was literally writing down, I went to the Laguna Beach for this event, and I will change many things.
What would you say, man, from finding what you like? This is how you find Warrior Week, but what did you find for you at Warrior Week through that experience? What did you find with you? Like, what did you seek and what did you gain? What was the gift you got? And what did you do with it, man? Like, what did you do with the gift that you got at Warrior? What was it and what did you do with it?
The number one thing that I got is that I'm not afraid anymore of making tough decisions in the business. I had this feeling that I'm a prisoner and a hostage of my agents, my employees.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I own insurance agency. We are very successful. But 20 years in the business, leading all these top sales directors with all the egos. And, when people get better, when people get successful, they start to figure it out on their own way. So you lose agents, you lose people. And I was ready always to accept some level of manipulation from them, to make some agreements with them, just to keep them in the business.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But when I came back from the Warrior Week, I started to execute. I'm not afraid anymore to make tough decisions. If I don't feel to work with somebody, I just tell them. I'm not ready to work with you anymore.
And what that caused in terms of result? What did I change for your business, for
So
you?
yeah, when I came back, there was a lot of resistance because I had this new masculine, even more energy. I was more decisive. I was more straightforward speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I was more demanding for myself first and then for them. And it creates some resistance at the
Yes.
beginning. But now, after like 7, 8 months, they're following. They're following. They are implementing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I found I have to be patient a little bit. I want to have fast, quick results, but some things doesn't happen overnight.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you speak all over the world, specifically in Eastern Europe, and you know, you speak of the Warriors Way. You have the podcast, The Warrior Family. You live the Warriors Way. It has a massive amount of impact on you. So you teach that what you live. How is that received from that culture, Slovenia culture? And do you find yourself that being direct is what they enjoy, or there needs to be some level of cultural, cultural ways to present the Warriors Way? Like, what do you see?
I see that that the society in this part of the world is shifting also.
Mm-hmm.
So what I see is that like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, 90% of my participants at the seminar were women.
Mm.
Okay, so since I came back from the Warrior Week, this audience started to shift.
Mm.
Really, now it's like 60-40 for men.
Mm-hmm.
And out of these 60, there are 50% couples coming to the event.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably change my energy.
Mm-hmm.
I change the message, and I'm attracting more men. And as Garrett said, like maybe next year, I will do the event only for the men, and I think this will be the first one in my area. So
What is your number?
They are accepting this.
What is the number one share that what is the number one thing that you share with them right out of the gate?
I share all my struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't share all my. I used to share all the wins.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I
It
didn't-
was
Yeah, I didn't like to share my pain.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid that if they see
Yes.
me experiencing pain,
Yes,
they
I-
will not follow me.
I remember
anymore.
your first interview,
So that was huge shift for me.
and today you lead with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
I
lead
was-
with the
yeah,
struggle. You
yeah.
lead with struggle in marriage, struggle in business,
yeah.
struggle personally. It's just culturally, whatever. That's
I don't want to be perfect anymore.
No.
So just,
that I believe.
yeah, yeah.
That I believe. That I believe. It was hard. You wanted to come in.
Yeah.
But obviously, Warrior Week did not care if you're, if you're popular, you're not popular, you're a speaker or not a speaker. Every man is a leader,
Yeah.
and but I'm glad you're here tonight, man. We had an hour and a half interview with you on your podcast. I enjoyed being there, and I invite you tonight to be here because number one, I wanted you to be one of the first men that being interviewed inside of this amazing podcast and brand new one. Number two, you had a great suit, and we never had a man in a suit. And say, fuck it, let's break the rules. Let's bring a man in a suit. But really, I wanted to create a footprint of your message, and a message that that comes from years of pain, and the first night at Warrior Week, there's this place that we all go, and inside of that, the pit. And as you recall that night and going into the pit with what was the pain that changed everything for you? What did you felt in that space that kind of shifted everything from you? And as they say, you grabbed the bull by the horn, and here you are today sitting with all this wisdom, man. And this is like in short amount of fucking time. You've collapsed the time. You collapsed east and west, the distance. You are bringing the wisdom of you, not your culture, not this culture, not like just you as a man, as a father, as a dad. But it was sparked by this pain. What can you tell us about that pain?
First of all, I wanted to run away this first night. I said, shit, I have to run away. I started to come up with all the excuses that I have to go next day. And the pain that I felt was the pain of letting go. The pain of letting go of the past. The pain of letting go of who I am or who I was. And the pain of letting go who I must be for some other people. The pain of letting go to tell the truth. The biggest pain that I felt was around my mother. I was crying because I found out that she was always lying. She was always lying to protect me. She was lying to my father. She bought new shoes, new tennis shoes for me. She was lying. She smoked. She was lying. So I thought that my father caused so much pain for me when I was a kid. He beat me. He beat my mother. And then at this spot, I realized that my mother caused me a lot of fucking pain. I was so angry. I was so angry because of the lies that she was coming up all the time to mask everything. To mask, not to have conflict with my father. That was the biggest pain.
And that is huge because you mentioned two things. One is at a very early age you were forced to believe in lies and trained on telling lies. Two, like she took away the power of colliding because she was teaching you not to collide. So the lack of collision and just being trained to lie. That's what you built in that business previously to Warrior Week, and you shared with me is like, I'm always putting fires away. I'm always managing people. I'm always, you were being your mom, man. Like you were like, hey, let me like this, let me like that, and then you don't collide with this. I don't collide with you. We don't collide. It's crazy how that followed you and became part of your character.
Yeah.
And to let that go was absolutely painful, I remember.
You don't realize that.
And so if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, letting go, like it's not just one night. It's a process. Warrior Week is a process. There's a build up to it. No one does the work for you. You have to do the work for yourself.
I think this build up is even harder.
Very hard. Very hard. And but it's an experience. It's an experience that you were wanted here, and you were seeking for this for years. Just like the story I told you about, Tony Robbins and what I wrote on a piece of paper. But for years you were looking for a solution, and the pieces of it all came together. The lady introducing Garrett, and you looking at this, and it took a lot for you to submit to this, right? We're not talking about some, we're talking about a guy that is significantly popular, right? A celebrity. And for you to submit to this process was a big deal. And also from a foreign country, like the other side of the world. Like, what are these crazy guys doing? But you took the steps, not knowing where it's going, but you knew that you had to experience this. And as a result of it, we can see a total changed guy, total changed brother, total changed father and husband, and the good that you're doing, and the message that you're carrying, and your message is simple: is love your family. I mean, that's what the matrix in business is. That's exactly what it is. And now you have a more successful business, more prosperity, less stress.
Absolutely.
So much less stress in you.
That is something that they answer if I ask them in my office. What is the major change that you see on me? And they say, you are not so much under stress.
You're a happy guy.
Like you are not, how they describe, like you are not in the panic.
No.
You came into the office, you were like,
do that, do this. We are going to get screwed. Do that. No.
You are calm.
Yes. Calm.
You are calm.
Yes. And that, my friend, is valuable.
Do you think it's because of the stag that I'm doing these 7 months now?
I think
I asked Garrett this question. Like,
it's absolutely because of the certainty that you have in you, and you exercise that certainty through the stacks, which is you listen to yourself today. You're not looking for some guru to tell you what to do. You are your own guru today. You are your own guide. That's the power of asking yourself these questions daily. No one is guiding you but you.
yeah, yeah,
And you're always open to capture more information and capture more, but the final captain is you.
yeah.
You truly become the captain of your soul.
I agree.
So thanks for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing a story that is very common, very, very common. Like it's the pain that you felt, and also the big one for me was just giving away this responsibility in exchange for some false hope. And because that was me. So I appreciate you being here. And also for those of you that want to watch further of these kind of episodes and you like this, you will watch this at warriorweeknow.com, or on iTunes. You can find us at Warrior Week podcast, and pictures, movies, and all kind of details of these podcasts are available on the website warriorweeknow.com. Gentlemen, have yourself a fantastic night.
Can I share something?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I came up with a quote after, I think, Warrior Kingdom Challenge.
Yes.
I came up with a quote that we all live by.
Uh-huh.
My wife, me, we have printed on the T-shirt on the backside. So I came up with this, like, my business is not my family. My family is my business.
Yeah, repeat that again, because that's going to be the closing line.
Wow. My business is not my family. My family is my business.
So my business is not my family. My family is my business. The word of wisdom from our friend Similian from Slovenia. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you
And
very
thank you
much.
for sharing your message.